there are 5 dimensions of critical thinking. Critical thinking is intentional, which we talked about yesterday, but it's also essential. So we're going to be uncovering the absolutely indispensable elements of things. That's a huge part of being a critical thinker, is knowing what matters, knowing what is important. Awesome. Okay, I have looked this guy's name up before, and it is pronounced like it sounds, or like it looks. Pierre Teilhard de Chardin. So let's read it. However far I go back into my childhood, nothing seems to me more characteristic of or more familiar in my interior economy than the appetite or irresistible demand for some unique, all-sufficing, and necessary reality. Oh, what is he talking about here? However far I go back into my childhood, nothing seems to me more characteristic of or more familiar in my interior economy than the appetite or irresistible demand for some unique, all-sufficing, and necessary reality. To me, what this is talking about is meaning, right? This is nothing more does he understand. I like this idea of my interior economy. That's an interesting way to put it. More familiar to my interior self. Nothing is more familiar to my interior self. Nothing is more characteristic of my interior self than this desire, this appetite, he says, that's irresistible. It's a demand, he says, for a unique, all-sufficing, and necessary reality. So he feels this strong need. In fact, it's the only thing that he can describe as his internal whatever economy, he says. His internal self has this demand for an all-sufficing and necessary reality. These things are critical, by the way. And so we'll get around to what this has to do with thinking, but it's critical to Pierre that he meet these needs that he feels deeply inside of him. In fact, it's the greatest thing that he can name, right? This need for an all-sufficing, unique, necessary reality. It needs to be unique, number one. I need desperately for my existence to be unique. So what he's saying is the greatest need we have is to feel as if this matters, right? That it's unique, that we are different, that we are independent, that what we have matters in a unique way. And it's in a necessary way, that we're part of some necessary reality. Again, this gets back to necessary is about mattering. It's about being essential. It's about we crave being part of something that matters. This is critical to the human experience. He's not only saying that when we come to the table, it is essential that we feel as if it matters. No matter what we do, life should always feel that way. It is our greatest need that when we live our day-to-day life, that it matters. It matters deeply. It is necessary, what we're doing. We matter to this reality. Our unique disposition brings something to the table that matters. And I also really like all-sufficing. What's the point of living a human life if you're not having your needs met? If you are hungry, you need food. If you are tired, you need rest. We need reality to address the things we feel inside. It needs to be all-sufficing. We need to be able to have the skills to be able to meet our needs, to be self-sufficient. All-sufficing means this reality needs to be able to supply us with everything that we need. We have to figure out ways to make this reality meet our needs. That has to be central to what we're doing. Because if it's not, then what are we doing? Needs are huge, 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 huge. They're critical. They are essential to what we do as humans. I'm going to read it one more time because this is a lot of times these philosophy ideas, there's so much to unpack. So now that I've kind of gone through it, let's listen to it one more time. However far I go back into my childhood, nothing seems to me more characteristic of or more familiar in my interior economy than the appetite or irresistible demand for some unique, all-sufficing, and necessary reality. Oh man, I also love that he talks about childhood because he nails it. That's exactly right. We have always felt the urge to meet our needs. My God, what is the first cry as a baby, right? That baby is expressing a need. Needs are how we exist. We exist and we express ourselves through our needs. And yesterday we talked about how our feelings pull our intentions in different ways, right? Needs do the same thing. Needs drive us from childhood onwards. And as he spoke about, a huge need is purpose, is meaning, a unique, all-sufficing, and necessary reality. We are independent, we are meeting our needs, and it matters. It is necessary to whatever this is. Whatever life is, we matter to it. We each desperately feel that need. Like, yeah, I also have that need, right? I also feel the need to be unique and to have reality be all sufficing for me, right? I need this world to meet my needs. Simple as that. And I need to be necessary to it, right? And I need it to be necessary to me. It goes both ways, right? We're unique to it. And we also want a unique reality ourselves, right? We don't want the exact same life as someone next to us. So not only do we want to be unique, all sufficing, and necessary, but we want the world, our own life, our own story, to be unique, all sufficing, and necessary to us, right? It's a dual relationship here. We are those things and reality is those things. And we need them to align because we've taken our intention and looked at this and realized, yeah, this is critical. These things are critical, period, to the human experience. So as critical thinkers, the next step is, so what do we do about that? If we have this great need, what is the action to take? In order for this to be empowering and not just some like, oh yeah, that's nice. That rings true. I also want what Pierre wanted. We need to figure out how can we enact this truth? It's a truth. It resonates. How do we do this? What actions do we take to make this happen? And so think about that today. Think about that. What does that mean? How do we create a world where each of us feels unique and can have the unique experience we crave? How can we create a world that allows us to meet our needs? And how can you create a life where you are, that is all sufficing to you, where your needs are met? And this doesn't mean exclusively self-sufficiency, though that's super important. We do need self-sufficiency, but you can't do everything alone. We should all be as self-sufficient as we can be because I've been learning more about disabled wisdom and I love it so much. Disability theory is so dope. Here's the deal. We can't meet all our needs by ourselves. No one can. No one can. Not just people with disabilities. Nobody can meet every single one of their needs. We need one another. It's crazy to act as if that isn't the case. Yes to self-sufficiency, but also yes to being sufficient with others, right? Learning how to be sufficient together. How can we all have different needs and we all have different capabilities. How can we work together to make this work for everybody? We need each other to help us know what we need. We can't always know it ourselves, though we can know a lot. And I think Pierre shows that, right? We all intuitively know from childhood on that we need to be unique and we need a unique world, that we need to be sufficient to the best of our abilities and we need the world. We need to figure out ways to meet our needs. And a lot of times that means going outside of ourselves. Most of the time that means going outside of ourselves. But we also can meet a lot of our needs on our own, and that's critical too. So don't ignore one side over the other. They're both important. Don't try and rank them. Like, I need others more, I need myself more. No, they're the same. They're the same. Quit with the ranking. That's called sectarianism, and it's getting in your way. Stop trying to put things at number one. You need yourself to meet your needs, and you need other people to meet your needs equally. And that's okay. Sometimes there isn't a number one, America. Just saying. Oh, I don't think we talked about being necessary. Why are we doing this? What's this for? Why is this necessary? And like, yeah, that should be our work. It should be self-evident why things are necessary. When we go out into the world, we shouldn't be like, why am I doing this? What is the point of this? If there is no need being met by something in society, is it necessary? No, we need to get rid of it. So that's what it means to be a critical thinker, is looking at things. Are these things treating us in ways that allow each of us to be unique, right? Is society, is the world around us allowing each of us to be our unique selves? Is it allowing us to meet our needs? Is it allowing us to feel as if things are necessary and that we're part of these necessary interactions and we're not just doing things pointlessly? We hate that. We hate that. I can't think of anything we dislike more than pointlessness. We're not into it. So remember, as you're out there today, pay attention to what's essential. In you, what is necessary to you today as you're going around? And is the world meeting what's necessary to you? Note those things that, like, yeah, the world is meeting my needs. And you know what? No, the world is not meeting my needs. Pay attention to that today as you're out there. And let's start getting critical. Let's start talking about those things that are not meeting our needs. It's an important thing to do. It's super critical. So remember to be essential out there and have a colorfully critical day.